Welcome to Loving Wisdom. Today, we're exploring a challenge that so many of us face: the deep-rooted resistance to physical exercise. If you've ever found yourself struggling to maintain a consistent exercise routine, know that you're not alone, and more importantly, there's nothing wrong with you. This resistance isn't simply about lacking motivation or willpower. It's a complex interplay of emotional patterns, family dynamics, and spiritual energies that influence our relationship with physical movement. Whether you've tried countless times to start an exercise routine only to stop after a few days, or you feel an unexplainable heaviness when thinking about movement, your experience is valid and deserves understanding. In today's exploration, we'll uncover the hidden wisdom behind this resistance, looking beyond surface-level explanations to understand the deeper reasons why exercise can feel so challenging. Together, we'll discover how this resistance might actually be carrying important messages about our emotional and spiritual well-being. When we look at exercise resistance through a psychological lens, we begin to understand that our struggles with physical movement often stem from deeply embedded emotional patterns and past experiences. These patterns create an intricate web of resistance that goes far beyond simple procrastination or lack of motivation. Many of us carry negative self-perceptions that significantly impact our relationship with exercise. Thoughts like, "I'm not athletic enough," or "I'll never stick to a routine," become self-fulfilling prophecies that reinforce our resistance. These limiting beliefs often take root in childhood experiences, where perhaps we were the last one chosen for sports teams or received criticism about our physical abilities. Trauma, whether big or small, leaves lasting imprints on our relationship with movement. When exercise was used as punishment, or when physical activity became associated with shame or embarrassment, our bodies learned to protect us by creating resistance. This protection mechanism, while well-intentioned, can keep us stuck in patterns of avoidance. Sometimes, our resistance to exercise masks a deeper fear of success or change. The thought of becoming stronger, healthier, or more visible can trigger unconscious fears about standing out or taking up space in the world. We might sabotage our exercise efforts because deep down, we're afraid of the responsibility or attention that comes with transformation. The modern world's emphasis on instant gratification also plays a significant role in our exercise resistance. Our brains have become wired for quick rewards through social media, entertainment, and convenient pleasures. In contrast, the benefits of exercise often unfold gradually, making it harder for our reward-seeking minds to stay motivated. Stored emotions in our body can create physical resistance to movement. When we start exercising, we might begin to feel emotions we've long suppressed: anger, sadness, or fear. Without understanding this connection, we might interpret these emotional stirrings as signs that exercise isn't right for us, when in fact, they're opportunities for deep healing. The body keeps score of our experiences, and sometimes our resistance to exercise is simply our system's way of maintaining emotional equilibrium. Even if this equilibrium isn't healthy, it feels safe and familiar to our psyche. This is why sustainable change requires us to address not just the physical aspects of exercise, but the emotional patterns that maintain our resistance. Our relationship with exercise often runs deeper than personal choice. It's intricately woven into our family system and ancestral lineage. These invisible threads of connection can significantly influence our ability to embrace physical movement and maintain a consistent exercise routine. Consider for a moment the patterns you've inherited from your family system. Perhaps you come from a lineage where physical labor was associated with hardship and survival, where your ancestors worked themselves to exhaustion in fields or factories. Your resistance to exercise might actually be an unconscious loyalty to their suffering, a way of saying, "I won't forget your struggle," by carrying their fatigue in your own body. Sometimes, Our difficulty with exercise stems from an unspoken family rule about not surpassing our parents or siblings. If your family members struggled with health issues or weight management, becoming fit and energetic might feel like a betrayal of the family system. Your body might resist exercise as a way of maintaining belonging and connection to your loved ones. Family dynamics around health and self-care leave lasting imprints on our relationship with movement. If you grew up in an environment where taking care of one's body wasn't prioritized, or where rest was seen as laziness, your system might reject exercise because it feels foreign to your inherited family values. Hidden guilt can also play a powerful role in exercise resistance. Many people unconsciously believe they don't deserve to be healthier or more vital than their family members. This guilt can manifest as persistent procrastination, sudden injuries, or a mysterious lack of energy when it's time to exercise. Some of us carry the weight of unresolved family trauma through our resistance to movement. If previous generations experienced trauma related to physical activity, whether through forced labor, wartime experiences, or other hardships, this memory can live in our cells, creating an instinctive withdrawal from exercise. The beauty of understanding these systemic influences is that it allows us to approach our exercise resistance with compassion rather than judgment. When we recognize that our struggles might be carrying a deeper purpose within our family system, we can begin the gentle work of disentangling our personal path from our ancestral patterns. Remember, acknowledging these connections doesn't mean we're bound by them. We can honor our ancestors' experiences while choosing a different relationship with movement for ourselves. In doing so, we create new possibilities, not only for our own well-being, but for future generations of our family line. Let's explore the fascinating world of biodecoding and how our body holds deep wisdom about our relationship with movement. Our physical resistance to exercise often speaks a language of its own, revealing emotional patterns and survival programming that run deep within our cellular memory. From a biodecoding perspective, our body is constantly responding to subconscious beliefs and emotional experiences. When we find ourselves repeatedly avoiding exercise, our body might be acting on ancient survival programming. Throughout human evolution, conserving energy was crucial for survival. Our ancestors needed to preserve their strength for hunting, gathering, or fleeing from danger. This primitive part of our brain doesn't understand that we now need to deliberately move our bodies for health. Think of how your body might be protecting you through its resistance to movement. Perhaps you've experienced times of emotional overwhelm or trauma where staying still felt safer than moving forward. Your body remembered this strategy, and now, whenever you think about exercise, it automatically activates this protective response. The way we store emotions in our body can also influence our relationship with movement. Each muscle tension, each extra pound, might be serving as emotional armor. When we begin to exercise, we're not just moving our bodies. We're potentially releasing years of stored emotions, memories, and protective patterns. Our cells carry memories of every experience we've had, creating what we call cellular memory. If you've ever felt inexplicably exhausted at the thought of exercise or experienced sudden resistance when approaching a workout, your cellular memory might be responding to past experiences where movement felt threatening or overwhelming. Sometimes our body's resistance to exercise isn't about exercise at all. It's about what movement represents. Moving our body can symbolize moving forward in life. And if we're carrying unresolved grief, fear of change, or past trauma, our body might instinctively resist this forward motion. Weight itself can be a biological response to feeling unsafe. If you've experienced emotional wounds, your body might hold on to extra weight as a form of protection, making movement feel more challenging. This isn't a conscious choice, but rather your body's intelligent response to perceived threats. The fatigue we feel around exercise might also be carrying important messages. Perhaps your body is telling you about unprocessed emotions that need attention, or signaling that the type of movement you are choosing isn't aligned with your body's current needs. Our bodies are infinitely wise, and sometimes what we interpret as resistance is actually an invitation to listen more deeply. Understanding these deeper layers of our exercise resistance allows us to approach movement with greater awareness and compassion. When we acknowledge that our body's responses serve a purpose, we can begin to create new patterns that honor both our need for safety and our desire for vibrant health. When we look at movement through a spiritual lens, we begin to understand that our body is far more than just a physical vessel. It's a sacred temple of transformation and divine expression. This perspective invites us to see exercise not as a mundane task, but as a profound opportunity for spiritual connection and energy activation. Every movement we make is an expression of life force energy, or what many traditions call prana or chi. When we resist physical movement, we're often unconsciously blocking this vital energy flow. It's like damming a river. The natural flow becomes stagnant, affecting not just our physical well-being, but our spiritual vitality as well. Many of us have developed a deep disconnection from our physical form, viewing our body as something separate from our spiritual essence. This split between body and spirit can manifest as resistance to movement. When we don't recognize our body as a divine instrument, we may neglect its needs or treat it as an inconvenience rather than a sacred partner in our spiritual journey. The resistance we feel toward exercise often mirrors our resistance to spiritual growth. Just as spiritual evolution requires us to move beyond our comfort zone, physical movement challenges us to embrace change and transformation. When we avoid exercise, we might actually be avoiding the profound spiritual awakening that movement can initiate. Each step, each stretch, each conscious movement can be a prayer, a meditation, a way of honoring the divine within us. Ancient wisdom traditions understood this profound connection. That's why practices like yoga, qigong, and sacred dance have been used for thousands of years as pathways to spiritual enlightenment. When we move our bodies with conscious awareness, we create space for divine energy to flow through us. This energy flow can help release old patterns, heal emotional wounds, and awaken our spiritual consciousness. Exercise becomes not just about physical fitness, but about energetic alignment and spiritual integration. Sometimes our resistance to movement comes from carrying dense spiritual energy, unprocessed emotions, limiting beliefs, or spiritual wounds that make us feel heavy and stuck. The thought of movement becomes overwhelming because at a soul level, we know that physical activity might begin to shift and release these spiritual blockages. By reframing exercise as a sacred practice, we can begin to transform our relationship with movement. Each workout becomes an opportunity to honor our divine nature, to express our spiritual essence through physical form, and to participate in our own healing and transformation. Now that we understand these deeper perspectives, let's explore practical ways to transform your relationship with movement. The key is to approach this transformation gently, with deep self-compassion and awareness that lasting change happens gradually. Begin by shifting your internal dialogue about exercise. Instead of viewing it as something you should do or have to do, try this. Each morning, place your hand on your heart and say, "Today I choose to honor my body through movement." This simple practice helps rewire the neural pathways that associate exercise with obligation or punishment. When resistance arises, welcome it as a messenger rather than an enemy. Take a moment to journal about what you're feeling. Are there fears coming up? Old memories? Family patterns? Simply acknowledging these feelings without judgment can begin to dissolve their power over you. Start with 5 minutes of gentle movement each day. This could be stretching, swaying to music, or simply walking mindfully around your home. As you move, focus on the sensation of your feet touching the ground, the rhythm of your breath, the subtle shifts in your body. This mindful approach helps rebuild trust with your body and creates new, positive associations with movement. Consider creating a sacred movement ritual. Before any physical activity, light a candle, say a prayer, or set an intention. You might say something like, "With each movement, I release what no longer serves me and welcome in fresh energy and vitality." This practice helps bridge the gap between spiritual connection and physical movement. If you notice resistance arising during exercise, pause and place one hand on your heart and one on your belly. Take 3 deep breaths and remind yourself, "I am safe in my body. Movement is natural and healing." This simple grounding technique helps calm the nervous system and override old fear patterns. Explore different forms of movement until you find what resonates with your soul. Perhaps it's dancing in your living room, practicing Tai Chi in nature, or gentle swimming. The key is to discover movement that feels like an expression of joy rather than a punishment or obligation. Remember to celebrate small victories. Each time you choose movement, you're not just exercising, you're actively participating in your healing journey. Keep a gratitude journal specifically for movement, noting how your body feels after activity and the small changes you observe in your energy and mood. Consider joining a supportive movement community or finding an accountability partner who understands this deeper approach to exercise. Having witnesses to your transformation journey can provide encouragement during challenging moments and celebrate your progress. Most importantly, approach this process with patience and deep self-love. Your relationship with movement has been shaped by many factors over many years. Allow yourself time to heal, transform, and discover the joy of movement at your own pace. As we conclude today's exploration of exercise resistance, remember that your journey with movement is deeply personal and sacred. The challenges you face aren't simply about motivation or discipline. They're connected to deeper patterns within your psyche, your family system, and your spiritual being. You're not alone in this struggle, and there's profound wisdom in the resistance you've experienced. Each step toward healing your relationship with movement is also a step toward deeper self-understanding and personal transformation. Trust that your body holds its own intelligence, and it's always guiding you toward what you need. The key is learning to listen with compassion, to move with awareness, and to honor the pace of your own healing journey. Whether you begin with gentle stretches, mindful walks, or simply conscious breathing, know that every small step counts. You don't need to transform everything overnight. Start where you are, with what feels manageable and authentic to you. Remember, movement isn't just about physical fitness. It's about coming home to yourself, awakening your life force energy, and expressing your soul through your body. You deserve to experience the joy, freedom, and vitality that comes with finding your own unique way of moving through the world. If you've resonated with these insights today, I invite you to explore our guided meditation, specifically designed to help you deepen your connection with movement and your body's wisdom. You'll find the link in the description below. Thank you for joining me in this space of loving wisdom. If you've enjoyed this content, subscribe to continue exploring this loving wisdom. Until next time, shine high and tall.